This is Keith Lomason, and I'm starting my journey from Shanghai, China to Zibo, Shandong province during the outbreak of the coronavirus. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, and I am going for a 3-day trip. Now, before exiting your apartment in China anymore, you have to gear up. Required gear in most public places, and all public places, is a mask. I also prefer to wear gloves and eye protection because of the way the virus is transmitted. It's time to call my Didi. Let's see what kind of wait times we have in order to get myself from my apartment to the railway station. So I'm on my journey to the train station. I'm in a Didi, so I feel relatively safe. It's just myself and the driver, and he is properly geared up. See a mask and a hat, and there's hardly any traffic on the highway. This is the Yan'an East-West highway through Shanghai, taking me out to the Hongqiao railway station. We're coming up on 11 a.m. on Tuesday. Just saw the map there, all green. Normally the Didi algorithms would have routed me on surface streets for a good part of the journey because the highways are normally quite crowded. But today, due to the virus outbreak and the number of businesses that have not opened or are not fully opened, a lot less traffic. So the Didi algorithm routed me a little bit out of the way, but to the closest highway entrance, and it's proving to be the right thing to do. So we're approaching the train station now. It was a quick 25-minute trip, normally 45 minutes to an hour depending on traffic, so it was smooth sailing. And I'll show you the status of the train station as we pull in. So there is very little traffic here at the train station, and I'm sure there will be a temperature check inside, but everything else will move very quickly. Thank you very much, driver.
Yeah,
It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, no lines. Yeah. Quickly in, quickly checked, and here comes my bag. I've never seen the train station so empty. I'm here so early, my train is not even listed on the board yet. But look at how many have been canceled due to the virus. They just don't have the traffic required. Again, about noon on a Tuesday, all the kiosks are closed. But I see someone standing at McDonald's, so hopefully I'm in. There are several new normals in China at the moment. As you've seen, the facial gear. I also carry around my hand sanitizer. But when you eat, you must not wear a mask. So you can see nobody sits close to each other anymore. There's fewer people, so that works out okay. And I have seen at the Carrefour food court, they put little signs on certain seats, every other seat, do not sit here, so that they remind people to space yourself between each other. So this is the Shanghai railway station, 11:20 thereabouts on a Tuesday, February 18th. Just the basics and hardly any travelers. This place is usually quite packed. So while I'm waiting for my train to board, I'll take a few minutes to give you a little background as to why I'm doing this vlog. And since there's nobody within 3 meters of me or so, I'll lower my mask so you might be able to better understand me. China is doing a phenomenal job in locking down this virus and trying to stop the spread. Yes, there are some draconian measures the closer to the epicenter you get, I would imagine. But there is a lot of unanswered questions for a lot of people. I see and hear the expat side of things, and there's a lot less clarity in English, the primary or predominant foreign language here, than there is in Chinese. But even the Chinese are a little confused. So Beijing issues regulations, edicts on how to control what's going on. They put the fear of the government into officials at all levels of the government to make sure they do not underestimate or underreact. And they do, in their minds, publish clear guidelines, but they're still open to interpretation from community to community. And I'll continue this in a moment. So, as evidenced here at the train station, there are some fast food places that are open, some are closed. That could be a traffic issue, a sales issue. But some of the fast food restaurants have a person posted at the entrance to take your temperature. Others do not. The ones that do not, I am figuring they have decided that the camera temperature check at the entrances has done that job for them. But the ones that do have the person posted are just taking extra steps to make sure that nothing is traced back to them. So you can't blame them, but it does set two different standards just in that little microcosm of what's going on. The reason I'm doing this video log is that there's a lot of questions as to who can travel, where you can travel, can I come back, when I come back, am I going to be forced into quarantine, etc. So I made a lot of phone calls, talked to a lot of people on my WeChat groups, and the official consensus, I believe, is that if you're not in an area struck by the virus in a heavy way, in which case it would be designated a key area. If you're not in a key area, not traveling to a key area, not coming from a key area, and you don't go through a key area, then your travel is fairly unrestricted. You may have to be subject to temperature checks and logging your whereabouts and registering where you have been in order to get into anywhere you're going, a hotel or your home apartment. When I return, I expect that's what I will have to do. I am not going to a key area. I'm not going through key areas. I'm going from Shanghai to Zibo in Shandong province and back. When I return, I think I will have to register my presence, maybe have my temperature taken every day for 2 weeks, but I do not have to go into home quarantine. Hopefully in 4 days we'll find out that's true. I will give a shout out here for two websites that are offering very good summaries of the information. The first is medcram.com, MEDCRAM. This is traditionally it's an educational institution that students can sign up for and pay a fee to access courses that help them in their studies. But they also offer, for a free registration, you can have access to their daily summary of what's happening with the coronavirus. So I sincerely urge you to go there and listen to the very smart, very well presented courses, daily updates that they provide. The other one is Worldometer, WORLDOMETER.info, I think. It's either info or org, I don't think it's .com. They produce some fantastic charts based on the official information as to how this thing is going. And they also take the raw data and put it into a logarithmic chart as well, which gives you a better understanding of the trends. A lot of the information presented at MedCram is from the Worldometer, and they help make sense of it. So you can actually see that the last week, the trends have been very good as far as containing the virus is concerned. So they're announcing the boarding of my train, and they're only using one side of the entrance. That reduces the number of staff that are required to come in and man the gates, because the trains are fewer and the passengers are fewer. We'll see what it's like on board. Train car 15, seat 11F, and you can see how many co-passengers I have to tolerate on this trip. Boarding's not complete. We've got another 5 minutes. We'll see what happens. So I think I have discovered the train system for hygienic safety. Every one of the seat numbers has a red or a green light, which probably indicates where people are allowed to sit. And on both sides, it is the window seat that is allowed to have a passenger, and the aisle seat does not. So you're keeping people a good 2.5 meters apart in each aisle, and about a half a meter apart front to back. But again, when there's nobody on the car or in the car except one, there's no danger from airborne. You can see in the standard class that there's quite a few more people. They've tried to space them on the left side, giving people one seat in between each other.